What's up everybody, Dawg Dickens here on my first solo video. Today's lesson is top 7 villains from my childhood. And when I say that, I mean kind of like the top 7 villains that had like an impact on me or really resonated with me. Let's get started. Also top 7 because 7 is my favorite number and I feel like 10 is maybe like a little bit excessive, right? Number 7, SABOR from Tarzan. Alright, so SABOR is like, a lot of people don't know her name, and yes, it is a girl. It's the leopard, like the jaguar leopard thing that kills Tarzan's parents and, spoiler for Tarzan, dies halfway through the movie. First of all, that really fucking pisses me off. They replaced SABOR, which is the main villain for like the first half of the Tarzan movie, Disney's Tarzan. They kill her off and then replace her with that the hunter dude. The big muscular guy who shaves his face with his like giant ass dagger. He's a generic villain compared to SABOR. I know what you're thinking, like SABOR is not smart. SABOR is just a wild animal. Doesn't even talk, it just growls and roars and hisses. But that's unique. How many villains do you see that are truly instinctive? Fearless. The leopard's fucking fearless. And wild and very unpredictable. I mean, I'm sure it's not smart, but it's like you don't see villains like that very often. Most villains are at least somewhat competent. And SABOR was unique in that way. And I feel like that was a missed opportunity. As a kid, I just loved SABOR. I thought it was the coolest thing. I loved animals. And I remember in like, I think it was preschool, we had nap time. Hold on, it ties in with SABOR. Sometimes during that time, the cook would call 2 people over and give you cookies. And on top of the cook's refrigerator was like a bunch of toys and shit. There was like a SABOR toy, and it was like one of those toys where you could bend it, and it would stay that way. And I wanted it so bad, but I was always afraid to ask for it. But one day I worked up the courage to ask the cook. It was like this old lady, and she was really nice. And I asked her, I was like, can I have that? And she said no. I was like, what the fuck, bitch? I was a little kid asking for a toy that I'm pretty sure you probably don't play with, but it's whatever. My mom did end up buying me a SABOR toy from like Goodwill or something, but it wasn't nearly as cool. It had like a little fucking paw and like the tail, and you twist it and the paw went like that. And that's like all it did, and it looked like shit. Number 6. General Grievous from Star Wars. Specifically, Star Wars Battlefront 2. I didn't grow up watching the Star Wars movies at first. I was introduced to Star Wars through Star Wars Battlefront 2. My neighbor had the game. Honestly, my neighbor, I hope he didn't see this video, because I'm not going to say his name. He's a nice guy. He was just really fucking annoying. He was younger than me by like 3 or 4 years, and I would go to his house just to play Star Wars Battlefront 2. This was before I watched the movies. Mos Eisley. The heroes versus villains mode, right? I was always do villains. I remember coming across this cool, big, robot-looking guy, General Grievous, and I was like, oh, this guy looks pretty cool, so I'd always play as him. And I would kick ass. I was fucking amazing at General Grievous. Then when you do the run thing, and then you'd attack with the run, and his arms would split apart, and like spin in front of a dude, I thought that was the coolest thing. And that got me into Star Wars. You know, I watched Star Wars, Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, and then Revenge of the Sith. But before I watched Revenge of the Sith, and after I watched Attack of the Clones, because I watched it in order, I watched Star Wars Clone Wars. It wasn't Star Wars The Clone Wars, it wasn't the animated series, it was the series that was hand-drawn. It had the style of Samurai Jack. I think maybe the maker of the Samurai Jack even made Star Wars Clone Wars. It was very short. I think there's only like 2 seasons. It actually did release before the theatrical release of Revenge of the Sith. It's not canon anymore, but that's when they actually introduced General Grievous. One of the Jedi Masters, the guy with the big pointy head or whatever, I forget his name. Him and like 6 other Jedi get trapped by General Grievous. He controls the droid army. That Jedi with the cone head, I'm just gonna call him Conehead, or Pinhead. Pinhead Larry. Pinhead Larry, the fucking Jedi Master, who's like, his strategies are like unbeatable or some shit like that, like made General Grievous out to look like a genius. So General Grievous traps them. This Jedi Knight that looks like Shaggy from Scooby-Doo, he runs out, and then General Grievous lands on him and like crushes him. And then General Grievous stands up and he starts fighting like 5 Jedi with 2 hands. And he's like slicing them all, and he's getting on his hands doing handstands and grabbing his lightsabers with his feet and like spinning and shit. And he's taking all of them on. He kills a majority of them. So that was how you're introduced to General Grievous. You see him train with Count Dooku. And he doesn't have that raspy voice. He doesn't have that cough. He has a very mechanical voice. But it's like, it's menacing. It's intelligent. I really like how they did it. By the end of the show, Mace Windu force crushes his chest, and then that's why he gets to cough in Revenge of the Sith. So I saw that, and then I went and watched Revenge of the Sith. When Obi-Wan was about to fight General Grievous, he takes off his cape. He's like, I've been trained in your Jedi arts by Count Dooku. Separates his arm. I'm like, oh shit. Thinking like, oh, this is gonna be so cool. Attack, Kenobi. And then Kenobi just does that stupid, like, fucking like starts spinning his lightsabers like propellers and walking towards them. I'm like, oh, this is about to be so good. It's about to be so good. Kenobi, he just kind of goes into it. They have this lame ass lightsaber fight. Chops off 2 of General Grievous' hands. One Jedi Master chops off 2 of his hands when just before General Grievous took on like 6 or 7 Jedi at the same time with just 2 hands and 2 lightsabers. The Revenge of the Sith, Obi-Wan versus the Grievous battle ended up being so anticlimactic, and they ruined General Grievous for me. I still think he's a cool character, and I think in the comics he is more of a badass, he's more of a strategist, he's an actual good general and good fighter. A Jedi Slayer, that's like his name, that's what he's known for. He collects the lightsabers of the Jedi he kills. He's awesome. But the movie completely missed that. Nonetheless, I was in love with him as a kid. He truly did have an impact on me. Number 5, Mewtwo from Pokemon, the first movie, and Pokemon Stadium. I'm a huge Pokemon fan. I love Pokemon. I started with Pokemon Fire Red, and I just loved it. I love Pokemon. Charizard is my first Pokemon. They have such a tragic backstory for Mewtwo. He's a clone. He's made from the DNA of Mew, who is the ancestor of all Pokemon. Mew is very powerful. The most powerful Pokemon at the time when the movie came out. They made a Pokemon who's supposedly more powerful than Mew. Oh, more powerful than Mew. Mew was my personal favorite, and I had always cheered for Mew. But they never actually finished the fight, so you never knew who was more powerful. It's kind of this ongoing thing. But supposedly, Mewtwo is more powerful. It made me sad to see Mewtwo have a potential to be a great Pokemon, but he was pissed because he was made by humans to serve humans. He didn't want to be a slave. He was intelligent. He could speak. He could speak through telepathy. These humans just wanted to use him like other Pokemon. Mewtwo's like, no, fuck it. I'm not having that. And he blew up the fucking laboratory, just killed all the scientists, then went and tried to take over the world. I remember the scene where it shows his hand spinning like this. I mean, it wasn't Jaws, like he didn't make Jaws pop up or anything, but he made this big storm brew, and he's like, if you want to challenge me, only the greatest Pokemon trainer will come through this storm. And it was fucking awesome. And as a kid, I was like, oh, this Pokemon is evil. And like I said, I always had a thing for villains. To have an actual villain other than Team Rocket in the Pokemon series was new. It was fresh. Mewtwo looks awesome, really powerful. And one scene I always loved as a kid is when Ash Ketchum gets pissed and he runs up, he puts his hat backwards and runs up to Mewtwo to throw a punch. He's like, ah! And he throws the punch at Mewtwo, and Mewtwo doesn't even move. And Ash's fist stops right before him, and he just goes flying back. And then Ash gets up and charges at him again. Music's playing in the background. It's fucking epic as hell. He goes for a second punch, fucking Superman punch that bitch in the face. Mewtwo doesn't move, stops Ash, flings him way out in the air. Ash Ketchum would have been fucking dead, but Mew saved his ass with a big pink bubble, and that was awesome. Number 4. Freddy Krueger from Nightmare on Elm Street. I've still never seen Nightmare on Elm Street, and I know that's kind of cheating a little bit. But Freddy Krueger, the character, scared the shit out of me as a kid. He truly terrified me, and I was honest to God, afraid to fall asleep. And I would lay there for hours, tired, but afraid to fall asleep because of this character. And remember, keep in mind I was young and stupid. But my cousin told me about Freddy Krueger, and he showed me like pictures online and shit before we had iPhones. He had like the soul, like the faces of the souls he's captured like on his chest, and like he like opened his shirt up, you can see all these faces on his chest. He's all burnt and mutilated and shit. It scared the shit out of me. Spencer's, the store at the mall, had a Freddy Krueger statue in front, and it was just like a generic like fucking Freddy Krueger looking pose like this, you know. I would be terrified to see that statue. I would not pass Spencer's without my mom either holding my hand and me closing my eyes or carrying me. True story. And it got to the point where I would actually have nightmares about Freddy Krueger. If you don't know who Freddy Krueger is, Freddy Krueger goes inside your dreams and he kills you in your dreams. And if you die in your dream, you die in real life. And the people who live on Elm Street, Nightmare on Elm Street, keep having these nightmares with a guy showing up. If he kills you, you're dead. So people are trying to stay awake. Like, I've seen bits and parts of the movie by now, but I remember like these kids staying awake for too long and end up falling asleep in class, and he like kills them in class or tries to. Scary shit, man, and it scared the shit out of me as a kid. Number 3, Venom from Spider-Man. I was first introduced to Venom in the PlayStation 1 Spider-Man video game. There's like an opening scene of Eddie Brock in like this concert. I haven't played the game forever, so please forgive me. I'm going to have a hard time remembering exactly what happened. But Eddie Brock shows up at this concert that Peter Parker is taking pictures of or something. He turns into Venom, and I just thought Venom was so cool looking. I was like, oh, that's such a cool villain. And he had like camouflage and shit, and he talked like, we are We gotta kill Spider-Man. We're Venom. And he said we because Eddie Brock is the guy himself, and there's a symbiote that had previously attached to Spider-Man, and therefore has Spider-Man's powers, like, in the symbiote, then attaches to Eddie Brock, and makes Eddie Brock want to kill Spider-Man, and it's a symbiote and Eddie Brock talking, so he says we, he says our. And I always thought that was really cool. And then the Spider-Man 3 Sam Raimi movie came out. Say what you want about Spider-Man 3. It is a guilty pleasure of mine. I get there's stupid moments. The Sandman falling in the big sand pit and then decides to say, oh, there's a change in the silicone mass. That's probably a bird that'll fly away once we start it. That was stupid. The symbiote comes from space and this meteorite conveniently lands right next to Peter Parker. That was stupid. Peter Parker dancing in a nightclub. It was pretty stupid. But when Venom finally showed up, I was in love with the character. He's misrepresented, honestly. Sam Raimi wanted to make Eddie Brock and Peter Parker kind of similar, but opposites. Like rivals. Like in the Pokemon series, like Ash and Gary, they're similar, but they're different kind of thing. They both started off similar, and they have the same like body types and everything like that, same goals. That's how he wanted Eddie Brock and Peter Parker to be. And I do like it, but this is a comic book movie. It is based off of a comic book. I understand it's an interpretation of a comic book. I get that, but it did piss a lot of people off. But as a kid, I love Venom. Because Venom's only in like the last 15 minutes of the movie. I would fast forward to the end and just watch the fight scene. Because the final fight scene of Spider-Man 3 is one of the best fight scenes in the Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy, in my opinion. It's just a badass battle. Number 2, and this is a little bit of a cheat, but not really, is the Arbiter from the Halo series. Halo 2 introduced the Arbiter, and it was a new protagonist. You played as him and the Chief in different levels, but the Arbiter wasn't the Elite. The Elite is an alien species, and they're the bad guy of the Halo series. They're one of the big bad guys, too. They're one of the main people that you fight. You've been killing Elites constantly in the first Halo game, and now you're playing as one. You're the villain. You play as the villain. It is so cool. Not only that, but the Arbiter was a misunderstood villain. The Master Chief foiled his plans in the first Halo, and he's being punished in the second Halo, and he gets this suit called the Arbiter armor. What it means is basically he's going to be sent on suicide missions. Very important missions. A lot of people will see him as a hero, but he will die in the battlefield. That's his punishment. And you feel bad for this guy because the Arbiter, he's honorable, honestly, and he's very smart, and he ends up figuring out the scheme going on with the prophets and the Covenant and the religion that they go by. He starts questioning that. In Halo 3, he reluctantly joins the humans, fights alongside Chief, ends up becoming like his right-hand man. But the Arbiter in Halo 2 is a pure bad guy. There's a scene towards the end where him and Master Chief are side by side being dangled by Gravemind, which is the leader of the Flood, which is like another villain in the Halo series. Arbiter is talking shit to Master Chief. I just thought that was so cool. Arbiter is such a smart bad guy, and you really feel for him, even though he's trying to ruin the human race. You're like, man, this guy's kind of cool, and I kind of feel bad for him. And he gets treated like shit, but he's a good warrior, and he's fighting for what he believes in. And my number one villain from my childhood that made an impact is GLADOS from the Portal series. Now, a lot of people, from what I know, have not played Portal 1. Portal 2 was more popular by far. Portal 2 is a better game. The main villain is GLADOS. She's a smart-ass robot. She's sarcastic as fuck, always making fun of you. And it's her way of antagonizing you that is so interesting. Because she's like very blunt and straightforward. But she's always like twisting the knife a little bit with these little phrases that just get under your skin. And it used to piss me off as a kid. It used to piss me off so bad when you wouldn't figure out a puzzle in Portal and she would just mock the shit out of you. And then you would get the companion cube, which is this little cube with hearts on it that talks to you. And it's your companion cube. You're like, oh, this is a cool cube. I like this cube. It's my companion. And you just instantly get attached to it. GLaDOS fucking takes it away from you the next level. She's like, no. And she burns it alive. And I think it even screams. She does that twice. That happens in Portal 2 as well. GLaDOS is a fucking bitch. But she does end up, in the end, helping you in Portal 2 and letting you go. But she's still the villain. She still doesn't like you. And there's a song at the end of Portal called Once You Gone. It's GLaDOS singing to Shell about how she hates her so much and she only wants her gone. She doesn't even want her dead anymore. Just get out of here. And she even gives you the companion cube at the end. GLaDOS is fucking awesome. That's my top 7 childhood villains. Hope you enjoyed this video. It was my first solo video, so smash that like button, smash that subscribe button, and if you like what you see here, please go watch some of our other videos. Anyways, thank you for tuning in. What does Corbin always say? What's the fucking phrase? Until next time, stay geeky. Peace.
You know what I'm saying, geek bitches? If you like this video, hit subscribe and like, do that shit.